You know, remember to be home with your family at this point, and are coming back again to wash your hands and prepare yourself. Because this narrative between the people with money, these young philanthropists with all the ambitious scientists behind them on a concept of life or the existence of humanity on terms of we could make rain in the kitchen, we know that, like condensation. So we have all the basic sciences as to how the nature of things work and kill us dead as a species. We feel we could stand up and provide a particular quality of civilization outside of the nature and the vast majority of the species. That to me is an interpretation. And in all fairness to the species, with the computing power, even now that we have the learning of the 5G and the computing power, we still don't have the device being able to receive the wave that's so blatantly heavy. So we need to revisit the drawing board before we decide to not attend to the ecological concerns on the planet. People have to live. The idea of the industries and the energy sources has been our challenge. We learned that from ambition. Today it is time that ambition recognize that is all it is, ambition. So while the philanthropists and the people that has the significance say as to who could live and who could die, right, and then we would test this here and test this there, right, it's all well and good for that. But remember, in all fairness to the planet, what you want to do is to revisit the marketing strategies and the influence on the species brain. Because when you condition generation after generation, I am probably the 4th generation on processed food. When we could today, with the data, we know then that what we could do with the industries and the intelligence that we have to preserve the mass majority of the planet. Ecological concerns cannot be standing up against artificial intelligence or the 5G system. The coexistence is basically it, and the ecological concerns should be primary. When Thomas Jefferson said that the best tobacco and the best hemp grow on the same type of soil, we had the same question mark when big tobacco was over Thomas Jefferson's hand when he was writing the Constitution of America. It's time that the big tobacco and coffee recognize that it's time to put down the mantle and take up all their money and start to invest in ecological concerns, because we have already gained the intelligence and still in research for the technological improvements as a species. We need our planet. From in 1970, when we discovered this planet in its totality, to now, we could clearly see that our interpretation of the sciences is as equal to the time when people like DuPont and they decided to interpret what plastics is and how achievable it was. What they didn't cater for is for it ending up in the sea in microbes. So today, with all the intelligence that we have in terms of the magnetic waves that we could interpret around this planet, because it's like everything else. You could make rain in the kitchen, it's condensation. I want to keep it basic so that you could understand that we interpret nature from our perspective. But when our activities contributing to the nebulous clouds that forming probably 200 feet up in the air, you know you're doing bullshit. So it is time that we stop with the idea of having the transportation system definitely has to go, the energy source of it. Because 5G and the nature of things is part of the evolution of the species and its intelligence. But intelligence cannot bring us to a point of useless class. That cannot be intelligence. That's foolishness. While most of us will survive, whatever, because we have a script 2,000 years old telling us about plagues and things. So we have the little sciences going for us as a species. Right? And we have to be grateful for whoever gave us this intelligence. Because if we evolved, we still had to get thanks that we evolved. Whatever we were created, we still had to get thanks because we were created. But we're here now. And it's time that the significant people who have the influence on the media stop selling it for political affiliations and bring to the stigma revisit stigma, the stigma they put on the industrial hemp, on the energy source, the material source, versus the ambitions. Ambition today, we are data, boy. We don't need all the ambition again. We can't be so sure it will work, right? We have data. We could prove that it ain't gonna work because it's ending up in the sea and in the fishes and in the bees and in the birds. So you see that the end result of ambition.